Welcome to the Pioneers Side. I'm your host, Chris Hoffman. Episode 163 coming at you, the longest running show on UV. We're going to start off here with women's basketball action. They won their conference in the KIAC. They made it back to the national tournament out in Sioux City, Iowa. They drew a very tough opponent in the first round in Indiana Wesleyan, the number 4 overall team in the country. Let's take you to the score there. Pioneers trying to get done this year. They lost last year against Corbin in a final buzzer beater shot there that just wouldn't sink for the Pioneers. Trying to get done this year against Indiana Wesleyan. Final score of that one, Pioneers they weren't able to get it done this year, falling to Indiana Wesleyan by a final score of 61-31. A rough one there for the Pioneers. The Pioneers, they had a rough one there, Tim. And we're going to bring in our analyst now here, Tim Hardy, our women's analyst all season. Tim, the Pioneers, they weren't able to really get it done too much. So you see there at the graphic, Davis with only 8 points, McFadder with 7, Shartner with 4. But on the other side, 3 players in double digits for Indiana Wesleyan. And you know what, we were there. You saw Indiana Wesleyan just took it to a whole nother level, and they proved why they were a team that was ranked number 1 for lots of the season up until this tournament.
Yeah, they showed why they're really one of the best teams in this tournament, and we seen that during the conference game, and then you just was like really surprised by seeing also what was going on with Point Park. It seemed like they played better in different days, but that day they did not play at all up to this part.
And a lot of it was due in part to the rebound. It's one of the top rebounding teams in the country, as well as a very defensive-minded team. Point Park playing a very mirror image game almost against a team very base like themselves. But the other thing we saw was going back to the rebounding so many times, they just crashed those boards, Tim. And the Pioneers, they really do live on second chance opportunity points that just weren't able to come through here in this one.
Yeah, they wasn't able to capitalize on a lot of things, and we've seen that going along with during the game. Usually Point Park gets a lot of second chance points off their offensive rebounds, and it didn't really work well for them. We've seen that over and over again, that Indiana kept rebounding the ball, and Point Park wasn't able to get any chances of really scoring off of no second chance points. So Point Park just didn't get the good luck of the stick there.
No, Point Park drawing a really tough seed there, but no shame. They lost to a team ranked number 1 most of the season, ranked number 4 at that time, and is playing in the national title game. So, Tim, they just drew a tough seed. You have to give Indiana Wesleyan credit. They've been in this tournament before, and they really played like a team that the Pioneers really want to strive to become in seasons for years to come.
Yeah, it's Point Park's only second year being there in a national tournament, and, you know, good props to them going off throughout the season. You know, they just got to keep working harder, and eventually they could end up being like one of them top teams in the nation.
Now, before we take a look into next season, the Pioneers, they are losing some really big key components, but the all-time leading scorers in Point Park history, April Austin, is now no longer going to be a Pioneer. She's graduating at the end of the year. And, Tim, that's a lot of senior leadership the Pioneers are losing. In addition, they're also losing Emily Shartner, too, a very good three-point specialist.
Yeah, they're losing some big components there, you said, like April Austin, Emily Shartner. It's kind of sad by seeing it, but also you got to have faith in this team, just being able to have the experience. You got some good upcoming young players coming into. They was able to get a lot of experience into this year, and I think they'll do fine going into next year. They have some good key components still there, Janine McFadder, and I'm pretty sure that they'll work around her and make sure that they can get the job done.
You mentioned Janine McFadder. Other big key components are going to be Katrisa Savitsky. She's going to be a senior next year. Teresa Davis, another big key component. She'll be back again after really emerging as a solid player this year for the Pioneers. So, Tim, they have 3 of their 5 stars coming back, and they have a lot of the bench coming back, which was very solid in relief of the 5 starters.
Yeah, that's very good indeed for Point Park, just seeing that. Just a lot of bench players coming off, still a lot of hybrid players where you can switch a lot of positions in and out. And that shows really well for the Point Park way. And you can see it coming through. And hopefully it'll still work strong for them. There's a lot of key components there that can still be put together. And they still got time for it. They still have one of the top defenses I can see in the KIAC.
And they still have Coach Tony Grenick, who in only 2 years has taken them to back-to-back conference titles, back-to-back NAI national tournament appearances, and he's really got this team moving in the right direction. Only 2 years in.
Yeah, that's very impressive when it comes to Coach Gunner right there. He's able to just work this team, only 2 years in there. And, you know, there could be so many excuses that could have came upon this team, but he was able to put the work in with this team. It's something very proud of seeing, and I'm pretty sure he'll be a great coach in the long coming.
Pioneers, their season's going to end. Now we're going to move in to the other sports here, but we're going to take a short commercial break. Don't be anywhere. We'll be right back with baseball coverage with Phil Novotzik. Stay right here. You're watching Pioneer Sideline on UView.